so much for me, I cannot tell it all. If I had 10,000 tons, it still won't be enough. Chukuna kwa morele, when you hear completely. Chukumaro be more. Isi kandule. What shall I render? What shall I render to Jehovah? For he has done so very much for me. What shall I render? What shall I render to Jehovah? To Jehovah. Oh, for he has done so very much for me. What shall I render? What shall I render to Jehovah? To Jehovah. Hey. For he has done so very much for me. What shall I render to Jehovah? For he has done so very much for me. What shall I render to Jehovah? For he has done so very much for me. A very warm welcome to you, our wonderful viewers. What a wonderful and a powerful way to begin our show on this November's edition. Thank you very much for joining me. This is the Propellers Show with your host, Eric Kamiti. This is the only place where lost hope is revived and life finds its meaning. Our topic for the month is the power of pain and faith. Our wonderful viewers, it is an exciting measure to come before you to bring to you this topic that seems very ironical. Now, pain is suffering. Pain is distress. Pain is torment of the mind, of the heart, of the soul, of the body. I mean, there are all kinds of pain. We have spiritual pain, we have emotional pain, we have pain of the body, that is physical pain. We have so many kinds of pain that we go through in our day-to-day lives. In fact, somebody once told me that pain is part of life. But my dear viewer, I come to you with a message of hope that there is no other way to go through pain unless you go and get through it. Now, I want to tell you something that is very important, that pain is powerful. Pain is meant to refine you and not to define you. Anytime you allow pain to define you, then it confines you into an eternity of misery, turmoil, sorrow, and bitterness. And thus, our wonderful viewers, we are here with the guest of the day. He has just done a song that what shall I render unto the Lord, for he has done so much for me. Because this artist and guest in the house today is a person who has gone through thick and thin. He has been between a rock and a hard place. But let me tell you, he never sank in that pain. He did not die in that pain. He was developed. He was brought up out of the pain as a stronger man. And that is why we have none other than Minister Pretorious Peter on our show today. Welcome, Minister Pretorious.
Thank you very much.
We are very excited to have you in the Propellers show today, and we cannot wait for you to share with us the instances and the times you have been through tough conditions and you came out on the other side successfully. So to begin with, probably you will tell our viewers probably your name and what you do, just a brief introduction about yourself.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
My name is Pretorious Peter. I'm a student in Kenyatta University. I'm a minister of the gospel and I'm a worship leader. I'm also a mentor to many people. I've mentored a lot of people in ministry and in the Word of God, and I thank you for this chance.
Wonderful. We are very excited to have you. Now straight to our topic of the day, the power of pain and faith. And we are very excited to have you. So to begin with, would you love to actually share with our viewers the instances that you have gone through in life and you felt now this is real pain and it is getting too much? You can share with our viewers some of those few instances.
Thank you so much. Pain is part of life. We pass through pain when we are growing, and we cannot avoid pain in one way or another. I'm one person who has been through a lot of pain and a lot of difficult times, but at the end of it all, pain really worked for me. I'm brought up by a single mother. One of the hardest things that I've ever experienced is growing up without a father. I really wanted a mentor. I really wanted a person I can look up to, a person that I would want to be like. But when I was growing up, I saw how my mama would struggle to make sure everything is working in my life and my siblings' life, in school and all that time. It became so hard that she could not handle all of us, that some of us like me had to look for a way to survive, a way to really be in the world, and a way to really continue with life. Yes. It would pain me when she would wake up in the morning and I'm looking at her and she can't answer my questions. Yes. When I'm asking her some questions, she can't answer. And it was so much pain because I thought if my father was there, maybe it would have been better. Yeah, it would have been better. Maybe my daddy would have provided some of the things that we needed, some of our basic needs and such stuff. So when mama could not answer my questions, I blamed my father. Yes. I really had so much bitterness because I said if my father was here, then my mom would never be through what she is through, and maybe I and my siblings would not be through what we went through. It was a hard time to grow with my mom and my siblings, and every time she would wake up, she would go and do what she can to make sure we got something to eat, we got something to wear, and everybody is in school. And it was a little hard time, a very difficult time.
Yes. And how did you manage actually to grow up? Because right now you have just said you're a student at Kenyatta University. That means that you pursued your education very well and you have come a long way. How was the journey like to you? Now, having in mind that there's an absent father somewhere and there are a lot of struggles, I want to believe some of these things that have placed you in pain is something like, say, financial struggle. There is that emotional support that is missing. There is that fatherhood figure that you have to look up to but is not there in your life. So how have you gone through all these things at once?
It has not been easy. I grew up in my uncle's place because my mom wasn't good enough to contain me. I had to go through high school and she couldn't pay fees for me, so I had to be with my uncle for 4 years. Yeah, my uncle paid my school fees, and I remember every time I went to school, I couldn't call mom to send me any money because I knew if I have to call her, then it's a big trouble at home because she can send what she has, and there's nothing to eat at home. So the best way I would survive in school is to be silent and struggle through. I could never call her for any financial thing. Most of the times when I was in school, I remember most of the times I had to borrow money for my fare, so that when I come the next term, I may refund.
Because now school fees has been paid.
Yeah.
But the upkeep is still a problem.
The upkeep is a problem. Even the school fees was a big challenge,
Yes.
because every time people were going home, I had to go home. I knew every day when our class teacher would come to class and send people out home for fees, I knew I would never miss. Since Form 1, there's no day that people went for fees that I never went home.
Every time people were sent home for fees, you had to be among the number.
I had to be there.
It almost became a routine.
And it was a routine.
It was already a routine.
It was already in me. I knew this thing has to happen. And every time I had to go home for fee, I had to borrow fare.
Yes.
Because I didn't have nothing. I didn't have money to go home. And I just didn't have money. So I had to borrow so that I may refund when I get back. So I knew every time I come to school, I was ready to go back home.
And I came to realize that pain gives birth to pain. And that pain gives birth to another pain. Because I came to realize that when you look at it this way, like now you already have pain from home. When you get to school, there is still pain. You have to be sent home for fees, you have to borrow, you have to do these things. And I believe it was not an easy journey. So what are some of the things that you did to ensure that you kept on going? What was the wind beneath your wings during this time of pain?
One of the things that really made me go through, it's our topic today is power of pain and faith. Now, what really made me go through it was my consistency in God. Because every time that I looked at home, I could see nothing. But every time I looked at everything, I would just see God working out. I can't tell how I survived through high school if it were not God. I went through all that. I went home every time, but at the end of the day, I completed my high school course. And really God helped me, because I would pray, I would believe in God.
So you knew God at a young age?
I knew God at a very young age.
And so God, you want to tell our viewers that God has been the wind beneath your wings.
God has been the wind beneath my wings.
So were it not for God, you think pain would have destroyed you?
I would have. In fact, I should be dead by now.
Wow.
If it were not.
We are thanking God because at least you are not dead. We can see you here.
Yeah.
And now I came to realize another thing that pain gives birth to is frustration and disappointment. Anytime there is pain, there has to be frustration and there has to be disappointment. How did you go about frustration and disappointment in your life?
When I was young, I really wanted to become. When I never found my father, when I didn't grow with my father, I really wanted to be a person who would bring revival to our family.
Wow.
So every time I would be in school and remember what is at home, I really had to work. I really had to pray. I really had to be to do everything else that nobody has done in my home. I had to be consistent in my studies. I had to overlook everything, and I had to be me. I had to be there. I had to fight. I had to go through the storm. I had to go through the water. I had to go through the fire. Because every time I went home, something would really stir my spirit for work, for faith, for trusting more in God. Because there's nothing that would have ever brought me out of the struggle if it had not been the power of God.
Wow.
So it was so hard. Every time I went home, I had something to work for. When I looked at my background, I had something to work for.
Yes. So in that pain, one of the things that really propelled you forward, one was the power of God. Number two, you're sharing with our viewers that it was the faith that you had in this God. And so what are some of these challenges that you went through? Because now I believe when you are actually in the season of pain, it is not easy. Most of the time, and in fact most people, they choose to give up and forego even life. So what are some of the challenges that you went through when you were actually in pain and you didn't know where to turn to? Yes.
One of the biggest challenges was finances. Having finances was really hard because there was nobody to call, there was nobody to send you anything, and I didn't want to become a bother. If my uncle has paid my school fees, I didn't see the necessity of me calling him again for pocket money. I would really survive through that. And I had to go through it. I had to contain it. It was so painful. It was so dark. It was so hard and rough and very tough. But I had to be there. I had to work it out. I had to work it that way without bothering anyone. Without bothering anyone for anything. I appreciated for what they did. I appreciated everything they offered. I appreciated their support, their moral support. But I had to really be a little bit dependent, so that I can really handle this thing.
So during the season of pain, one of the things that really you learned is how to survive on your own. Because most of the time you are your own support system. You had to put yourself together in all this. And apart from now that the pain that emerged from the family and the background that you came from, along the journey of life, which are some of the other instances that you have experienced pain and you felt like now this one is too much? Perhaps there are times I believe pain comes in a double measure. It comes from this side and from this side, or even in a triple measure. You find yourself in 3 instances of pain and you feel now this one is too much.
I will give some instances of pain. I remember when I was in Form 2, I really got sick. I really got sick, terribly sick. And the doctor said to me that I had pneumonia and asthma.
At the same time?
At the same time. It really affected my brain and my thinking capacity. And it almost ruined my education. So when I went to the doctor, they gave me a big paper bag full of medicine and drugs. So every time I would go to take drugs, I would carry a paper bag and a jug of water.
You mean it was that serious?
It was that serious. And then I was always in pullovers and sweaters and full necks. I had to be in very warm big clothes in school. So it was very hard for me. It was so difficult for me, and I had to go through that. And one day the sickness was too much for me that it really affected my health so much. I became so thin. I remember I couldn't read. When I went to class, after I take the medication, when I get to class, the only thing I could do is sleeping because the drugs were so strong for me. Eating was a problem. I couldn't eat anything. I would just survive with what was provided in school. It was hard, so I took the medicine. Every time I took the medicine, I would feel dizzy. Sometimes I couldn't go to class. I would just stay sleeping and all that in the dormitory. So one day, it was too much pain for me because my school box was full of drugs. Every time you open it, the first thing you experience is the stench
of the drugs. I can imagine.
It was so smelly that everybody would notice that I'm in the room. Because something has changed the atmosphere. The smell has really changed the atmosphere. My box was like a chemist. We had all types of drugs with it. Now it was so hard for me that one day I took all the drugs and I threw them away.
And you are not yet healed?
I wasn't healed. Even I wasn't healed. I was even getting worse.
And you threw the drugs away?
I took the drugs, I threw them away.
What was happening at that time? Were you giving up on life or what was it happening?
It was hard. It was really hard. People were looking up to me and now I can't help myself. And people were coming to me to assist them. and I really couldn't help. I had to prove my faith to
Yes.
God. So it was a high risk that I did. I took all the drugs and I threw them away.
So the act of throwing the drugs away was not an act of giving up, but an action of faith.
It was an action of faith.
Oh my God.
Now I
Powerful.
said, yeah, when I went there, I said, God, now if you can heal me, then let me die. Because I'm not going to depend on drugs anymore. Because it had become too much. It had become too excess for me to really live on drugs, to really live taking pills every day, every 3 times per day. I can't concentrate, I can't do nothing, and I am there. What was paining me most is I was supposed to be helping people, and now people are pitying me, coming to help me. So I really had to do something crazy. I just decided to throw the things away. I threw them away, and I stayed like that. Now it became worse when I threw the drugs. I got a little bit sicker
Than you were before.
than I was before.
Oh my God.
But it didn't take long. I grew weak for 2 days. I couldn't go to class, I couldn't do anything. But I knew where my drugs were. I knew where I had thrown them. But I never went back for them. I decided to cling on that because I wanted to do away with the pain of sickness. I wanted to do away with the frustration of sickness and disappointment. It had become too much. So I stayed there until one day my class teacher called my parent and I went home. When I got home, I was getting better. In 2 days time, I was good. I was back to my health.
So your faith actually worked for you.
My faith really worked.
Our wonderful viewers, we have a powerful interview in the house. Can you imagine this prayer? God, if you do not heal me, then let me die. I wonder how many of you can make such a prayer. And now, minister, as this was now progressing, now this is physical pain that you really went through. And I believe at the very same time, the emotional pain was getting too much as well. And the pressure on the inside and on the outside was again too much. But you still came out because we can see you here today. Can you tell us, does pain really have power in it?
Pain has power. Pain has a lot of power because it really helped me start understanding people. And it really helped me build myself. Build myself emotionally, build myself mentally, build myself physically, all around me. Because through that pain, I knew how I can understand anybody who has pain. I knew how I can listen to anybody who has pain. I knew how I can really handle somebody who's been through hard stuff, who's been through difficulties and challenges and hard things in life. So pain has really power. It builds your emotions, it builds your ability to think and reason well, and it makes you grow, it makes you mature. Now the power of faith, the power of pain makes you mature up. You begin,
so pain pushes you to maturity.
Yeah, it pushes you to maturity. It makes you begin thinking like a grown-up.
Yes.
It makes you begin doing stuff as a grown-up person. It makes you start doing things like a person who has experience. Because pain will make you experience almost everything. It will cause a breakdown in your emotions, in your finances, in everything. And for you to overcome it, you have to be strong enough to handle even your own emotions. So that strength builds the inside of you.
So minus pain, there are things in life you cannot understand.
Yeah, there are things you cannot understand.
Minus pain, there's a level of maturity you cannot get to.
Sure.
So pain has a lot of power in it.
Exactly.
And to you now as an individual, would you say pain affected your personality?
Faith really affected me in a manner where it really pushed me to a place where I had to learn to trust the least. I can look at somebody who is not, he doesn't look trustworthy. A person people cannot trust. A person people cannot, people don't have really faith in. But through what I went through, I learned to trust even the person that people cannot trust. I learned to deal with people it made me grow, and I learned to understand people. So it makes you learn to deal with people.
Yes.
There are people you can deal with as mature people, and there are people you can really handle as a baby.
Yes.
But they are grown-ups, and you deal with them in their capacity and in their level of understanding.
Okay. And can we actually say that because now you are a recording artist, you also said you're a minister of the word, you are a mentor to many. Can we say that the pain that you've gone through in life, has it become like a motivation for maybe writing your songs, a motivation for talking to people, a motivation for mentoring people?
Yeah. It has become a great motivation to me.
Yes.
Because through that I have reached so many people in high school, in high schools and in churches, and I've talked to many youth seminars and youth conferences, telling them that they can still handle it.
Wow.
They can still stand the pressure. They can still become somebody without a father. They can still learn to become a father that their father was not.
Wow.
They can still become that thing that they never got in their family. I've learned to really show people, to get people through hope. Hope, and to let them know that there is a better future than just lacking a father. Yeah, there's a better future than that.
Wow, that is powerful. Our wonderful viewers, we are having a good time in studio. And now, Minister Pretorious, can you tell us, probably as we wrap up even our interview, can you probably tell us, somebody who is watching you and they're asking themselves now that this man is here right now, but I'm here. I've been in this situation for the past 10 years. I've been in this situation for the past 3 months. I've been in this situation for the past 1 week. What happens to me? Yes. So what can you tell to that viewer who is watching you and they're feeling like, what is happening to me?
Okay, our viewers, one thing I would want you to have is never give up in life. Never give up in life, no matter how distressed you are, no matter how oppressed you are, no matter how depressed you are, because every depression has an expiry date.
Wow.
Every hard thing has an end. It is just you're just passing through something that is building you to build somebody else, because you cannot build somebody else if you haven't been through it. You can't tell me about relationships if you haven't been through it. So it makes you be able to handle others. It gives you a story you can tell. Wow. When you're talking to me about something, have you been through it yourself? Because if you tell me my story, then if you tell me your story, then I will relate my story with your story, and my story and your story will build faith in us.
Wow.
And out of it we'll put our energies together, and we will come out. So what I'm telling you, our wonderful viewers, is never give up.
Wow.
Second thing that you must know is that God has a plan for you. The worst thing you can ever do in life is to let it go. Never let it go. Never stop looking for it.
Yes.
Whatever you want in life, never stop looking for it. If you have to crawl to find it, then crawl until you find it.
Wow.
If you have to die for something, then die for it. If I can tell you something, our wonderful viewers, that if what you are living for, you can die for it, then your life is not worth it.
Powerful.
If what you should be able to die for what you are living for. What that means is there is no room for looking back. There is no room for blaming somebody who hurt you, somebody who was not there for you when you needed them. There's no time to keep on talking about people who never did what they were not supposed to do for you. Because if they didn't do it, they were not supposed to do for you.
Yes.
So you have to keep moving. You have to keep pressing on. You have to keep your faith intact with God. One last thing that I want to talk to our viewers is be full of faith.
Wow.
Have faith in God. Because if you go through pain without faith, then pain will break you. When you go through pain without faith, pain will break you. But when you go through pain with faith, when you are breaking, faith will sustain you. When you're almost breaking,
Yes.
faith will sustain you.
What a moment, what a season, what a session to hear from the wonderful Minister Pretorious and his journey of pain. Our wonderful viewers, it is important to learn that when you are in a storm, it pushes you to your destiny. When you are in that fire, it refines you to become better. It is only through the fire that gold becomes pure. Thank you, our wonderful viewers. I want to assure you that it is already well with you. We have been told never, 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 never give up, irrespective of the pain in your life. Now I'll be leaving the studio. We have just heard that our guest today is a recording artist, and I'll leave him on studio to do one of his songs that he did to assure that actually through his faith, his pain was able to be conquered. Thank you so much. Until next time, God bless you. Our wonderful viewers, I want you to actually like this video, subscribe to this channel, share this video, and above everything, leave your comments down here. You can tell me how the show is like to you. You can leave a comment about the next kind of topic you want us to discuss. Any guest that you want us to bring on board, you can leave it here in your comments, and we will be sure to bring you what you want, because we value your feedback. That is all from the Propeller's Desk November's edition. Goodbye.
You are forever faithful, Jesus. You are forever faithful, El Shaddai, El Shaddai. You are forever faithful, Jesus. You are forever faithful, El Shaddai. You are forever faithful, Jesus. You are forever faithful, El Shaddai. You are forever faithful, Jesus. You are forever faithful, El Shaddai. You gave me a song, I got my turugi mama. Mama, eh, you lifted me. You gave me a song, I got my turugi mama. Mama, Lord, you reign, Lord, you reign. Forever you're the same. I got my turugi mama. Mama, hey, you lifted me. You gave me a song. I got my turugi mama. Mama, hey, you lifted me. Then you gave me a song. I got my turugi mama. Mama,